Trump's Gaza plan exposed. Donald Trump calls it the ultimate peace plan. Netanyahu calls it security. The GCC calls it responsibility, and Trump even boasted Pakistan backs this 100%. But here's the reality. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar stood up and said the 21-point agenda is not what Pakistan proposed and not what we asked for. Changes will have to be made. So if Trump says everyone is on board, is Pakistan distancing itself? And more importantly, why are Palestinians missing from the table altogether? Let's break it down fact by fact, point by point, and expose the cracks in this so-called peace. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Trump's Gaza plan exposed. Donald Trump calls it the ultimate peace plan. Netanyahu calls it security. The GCC calls it responsibility, and Trump even boasted Pakistan backs this 100%. But here's the reality. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar stood up and said the 21-point agenda is not what Pakistan proposed and not what we asked for. Changes will have to be made. So if Trump says everyone is on board, is Pakistan distancing itself? And more importantly, why are Palestinians missing from the table altogether? Let's break it down fact by fact, point by point, and expose the cracks in this so-called peace. Segment 2, Trump's 21 points. Trump unveiled this blueprint, 21 points, a roadmap that claims to transform Gaza forever. Demilitarize Hamas, set up a transitional government run by technocrats, bring in Muslim peace forces, secure Israeli hostages in 72 hours, fund reconstruction through Arab money, and maybe someday talk about Palestinian statehood. Trump himself bragged, Arab and Muslim countries, they have committed in writing, we are relying to them to decommission Hamas. But Axios reported the plan was radically rewritten after Netanyahu's visit and the edits that actually matter. Segment 3, Netanyahu's revision. According to Axios, Israel keeps half of Gaza under a permanent security perimeter. Palestinian citizens are now simply people of Gaza. Withdrawal is tied to Hamas, not just giving up weapons, but never rebuilding anything that could be called military. And Tony Blair is floated as coordinator of Gaza's governance. Well, is this actually a peace plan? It's Netanyahu's blueprint for permanent control. What do you think? Segment 4, Pakistan, GCC, Arab world. Trump stood at his podium praising the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan. Incredible, backing this 100%. But Ishaq Dar's quote shows a very different reality. Pakistan has not signed off. The GCC may pledge billions, Arab states may promise troops, but the real question is, are Muslim nations liberating Gaza or supervising it on Israel's behalf? Even Qatar reportedly begged Washington not to release this plan, calling it unworkable. The White House ignored them. Segment 5, enter Tony Blair. And then Tony Blair, the man who stood with George Bush in Iraq, the man the chill court inquiry in the UK accused of exaggerating threats, the man human rights groups will still accuse of war crimes, and now he's supposed to manage Gaza. Palestinians are asking, can the architect of Iraq's destruction be trusted to rebuild Palestine? Segment 6, Law, UN, and ICJ. The ICJ has already said Israel's occupation violates international law. Netanyahu himself has named in proceedings for alleged war crimes. The UN General Assembly again and again has voted in overwhelming numbers, more than 140 nations, to recognize Palestine as a state. The UNGA President himself has called what's happening in Gaza as genocide. So how can Trump's plan be legitimate if it bypasses the UN, the international law, and the very institutions meant to secure peace? Segment 7, Palestinian voices. So, where are the Palestinians? Polls show around 40 to 45% of Palestinians still back Hamas despite the devastation. Hamas has outright rejected Trump's plan, calling it a surrender document. The Palestinian Authority has condemned it too, saying it strips Palestinians of sovereignty, and as Kylie noted, nowhere does this plan recognize a sovereign Palestinian state. Well, after 75 years of war, occupation and displacement, Palestinians are asking, how can there be peace without them at the table? Conclusion? So here it is. Trump's 21 points, Netanyahu's edits, Blair's comeback, the GCC's billions, Pakistan's caution, the UN's warning. Every voice is at the table except the Palestinians. So let me leave you with this. If Trump's plan works, history may call it the deal that ended Gaza's war, but if it fails, it will be remembered as another blueprint for control. And the question is, which one will it be? This is your very own Fariha Farooq. You're watching 360 Digital English. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. Keep watching for more. Take care. Allah Hafiz.